Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a base game and one pack build for you using Cottage Living. This was my third attempt at a base game and single pack build. I tried Get Famous and then I tried Strangerville, but I just wasn't vibing with them. So I decided to skip all the way to Cottage Living, and I really like how this one turned out. It is nice and simple, just a one bed, one bath home with a very small attic space. There's space for farm plots in the back. I also included a pond and an animal shed on this lot. Of course, you can always swap out the shed for a coop if you want to have chickens instead, but this is available on my Sims 4 gallery. Just search for Marie 23 and you should be able to find it. This build came together fairly quickly. I skip and jump around a lot in this video. I cut out mostly the floor plan, the window decisions. I cut out decorating the attic space and the bathroom. And I also cut out the amount that I dug through debug to find the plants I wanted to use. Normally I don't use debug as it is a very tedious thing to look through, but since I was using only one pack, it made it very simple. Also, I wanted this lot to blend in with the hilltop that it sits on. Henford on Bagley might be the best world in The Sims right now, which is saying a lot because this world is like super old. um, but it looks stunning in every season. The lighting is always spectacular. Speaking of seasons, I forgot to download the two mods that I use in my game, UI Cheats and MC Command Center, so when I went to take the screenshots and whatnot, it was the dead of winter. So instead of logging out and downloading the mods like I should have, I sat through the end of winter and all of spring waiting for the plants to come back to life. But that gave me time to test out the build and make sure everything works, which is a bad habit I have of building and not play testing before I upload the builds, especially the ones that I just do for fun and not for videos. So there are some things you will see that are not there in the final build or that have just been kind of moved around slightly. But I hope everyone's year has been good so far. If not, I hope it gets better. I know I have not been having the greatest year. It's honestly been a struggle to even get up most days. Um, really, the only thing keeping me sane and distracted right now is the fact that I have hopped on the Throne of Glass bandwagon, and let me tell you, I have been wanting a book series to binge read for so long, and this one has me in a literal chokehold. Like, I think about it constantly all the time. I love it so much. But most importantly, I love Chaol Westfall. Like, I have not been this obsessed with a male book character since Edward Cullen back in middle school/high school. This man can have me any day of the week. I'm currently in the middle of Queen of Shadows, which I think, as of right now, where I am at in the book, this book is probably my second favorite. Um, we'll see. I've still got like 300 pages to go. It's probably my second favorite. My first favorite is Crown of Midnight. That book had me shook. That book was so freaking good. I loved it so much. Um, but in Queen of Shadows, I literally almost lost it when, spoiler alert, if you are late to the party like me, when Chaol sold the ring he gave to Selena. Like, you have no idea how, like, hurt I was. Like, I was genuinely so upset. Like, she gave it back to him and then he just sold it the next. I could not. I like closed the book. I could not deal with it. Like, to me, as of right now, they have to be endgame. Like, they just have to be. They were enemies and then lovers. Now they are enemies again. But like, I believe him and Selena are going to get back together because I want them to. They have to. It's just how I feel. Like, if Chaol Westfall is hurt, I'm hurting. I love him so much. Um, Also, I was playing around with this idea. I've been working on it a couple of times. I've been trying to build Selena's loft in The Sims. I've had, I think, yesterday or the day before, I was on like my third attempt to try to build it, which I kind of like how it looks right now. It's just I'm having really hard time with the floor plan because like at first I made it like too large, like extremely too large, and then I made it too small. Now I've got it like where I think it's a little too small. So now I've just got to find the happy medium between it being large and small, but like I really want to build it. That was what I was hoping I was going to be building and like recording a voiceover for today, but like I just couldn't get it finished. I don't like how it looks, so I'm probably gonna have to go back in for a fourth, maybe even a fifth attempt at doing it. But I do want to build it eventually because I think that build would look really cool. Of course, I would have to, you know, modernize it a little bit just to fit the Sims game and the stuff that the Sims allows me to have because I don't have every single pack. I almost do, but like there's some packs that I don't have that would probably work really well with it. So I might end up buying them. I might not and just work with what I got. But we'll see. But anyways, back to the build. Here I am still working on the landscaping. As you can see, I used a lot of the debug plants. Not all these plants are in build and buy, which I think is very strange of them not to add these plants to the actual build buy menu. Because they're really pretty, especially the yellow flowers and the purple ones. I think they're really nice. But I wanted to make the landscaping very lush. It's also, if you notice, kind of symmetrical in a way, but also kind of hodgepodgey. And I used a little bit of terrain paint here to make like a very faded like dirt pebble path. And then I'm doing something that I don't normally do, which is put rocks in my landscaping. Like the landscaping looked kind of empty, but I didn't quite know what was missing. I was like, I don't really want to put more plants because then it's going to look way too busy. So I decided to put some rocks. And actually, I think it looks really good. Of course, I'm not that good at placing rocks, but for a first attempt at doing some rock landscaping, I think it looks really nice. And I got like a bunny topiary out here. And then I put a fake picnic basket. If you download this and you have, what is it, Love Struck, that has like the woohoo blanket, you can put that out here instead of this one with the picnic basket, and your Sims can actually picnic out here. I think where I have the picnic basket placed, they can't actually use it. At least I don't think so. To be honest, I don't really use the picnic basket item all that much because honestly I forget that it exists. But there is the option to picnic. I also put a little bench over here along with more of the debug landscaping. There's a bicycle out here. And then something that does change is that I do put planter pots out along the front along with the bird tree. I do end up having to delete one of the flower pots because my sim just could not plant in there no matter what I did. I actually had to rearrange two of the plant pots because the plants just wouldn't go in them. I think it has to do with the footprint of the plant pot and like the objects next to it. So I had to like rearrange them. I had to get rid of one because it was too close to the bird tree. And then for some reason, the bird tree needed a lot of space for some reason. But I adjusted a little bit and then I went back in and moved objects to the bird tree and it still worked completely fine. So I don't know what was up with that. But as you can see, I'm still working on the landscaping. The landscaping was a process. I think this is one of my most landscaped builds, if that's the right terminology. Words today, very difficult. But I use a lot of the tufted up like grass because I wanted the grass to have like texture. It seemed too flat to me, so that's why I used a lot of these. And then here I am trying to find the decorations. I get out this little gnome. I think it's really cute. I put two over here, but it looked a little strange because they look too similar even in different swatches. And I put this little bunny statue. I'm pretty sure that's not meant to go outside, but I put it outside anyways. And then this is where I moved the bike to put the bird tree and the planter pots out here. I didn't really test using the bicycle, but you can literally just, it's one of those objects where in live mode you can just move it out of the way and then have your sim get on it and whatnot. There's the bird tree. I did for a second think about putting the bunny stump out here. I didn't end up putting that out here in the end. Honestly, if you want to put the bunny stump, I would put it out in front of the fence out there. Which, by the way, that gate that I use right there is actually a debug gate of the actual fence gate. I like the fact that it stays open and it's not closed all the time. That's why I wanted to use it. And then here we are jumping forward a little bit to where I'm starting to work on the animal shed area in the pond. Like I said, you can put a chicken coop out here and like fence it in, or have free range chickens. It's your choice. I personally liked the animal shed because I thought it took up the most space and I didn't have to put another fence around here. Um, Also, this is me using the pond tool for the first time in forever, and I only had to build the pond once, which can't really say that all the time because sometimes it takes me forever to make a pond in here, but I thought this pond turned out the exact shape I wanted it to be. A little, not perfectly round, but round enough. And then I put some dirt or like the mud texture in there, and then I just decorate up the pond, putting the mossy grass in there. Like, it's not a clean pond, it's obviously been through some things. And then just some lily pads to put frogs on, and then the log to put turtles on. I do end up putting a lot of those, like I put ducks and fish, and then I put a lot of fireflies and some mosquitoes around. I did notice that you could see the fish in the water, and also I turned on the logs and the lily pads to have like frogs and turtles on them, but I never once saw any frogs, turtles, never saw any ducks, never saw any fireflies or mosquitoes. Um, so I don't really know what's up with that. I don't know if I just did something wrong, or if maybe they don't appear in late spring, almost summer. But they are there. You do see me put them down. But here I am just putting more and more trees. I liked how the trees made the area more shady, gave it a lot of shadows, because again, the lighting on this lot is just immaculate. It's so pretty. Also, the Henford on Bagley lighting is just really pretty in general. Like at nighttime or like morning, depending on the season, it's like pitch black outside still, which I think is a really cool thing about Henford on Bagley. So the lighting seems more realistic, I guess. But then here I am adding a plant that I haven't used. It's just hydrangeas, but it's the debug hydrangeas, not the actual hydrangeas. So this lot, while it does cost, I believe it's like 43,000 simoleons, the landscaping here, if this was all actual purchasable landscaping, this lot probably would be super expensive. But here I am placing the ducks. Those ducks, I never got to see them. Never got to see these fireflies with the amount that I was at nighttime. Never got to see them. But they're there. And then here's a little glimpse of the backyard that I don't show. It's very simple, nothing to write home about, just 4 plots of dirt, some planter boxes. And then I'm putting some mud down here, and we should be jumping inside to the one part of the attic space that I do end up showing, which is this little reading nook that I put up here. And I did intend this to be a reading nook, but come to find out, your sim can't actually read the books I placed down. So it's really just decorative. However, I do put a cross stitch basket up here, and let me tell you, my sim made 14 cross stitch hoops while I waited for the plants to bloom. So off camera, after I added an actual bookshelf downstairs, which is accessible, it works just fine. I put up a collage of them on the wall next to it. So when you download this, if I haven't put it up there, if I didn't put it up there immediately after building this, there will be a cross stitch collage from my test sim. But I put a lot of books up here. Even that bunny bookshelf didn't work. I think it's because, again, used move objects to put it up there because it doesn't actually place on shelves, which I think the Sims team really needs to get on figuring out ways to put items on these shelves, because it's really difficult to want to clutter spaces up but not having any items slot to them when they clearly fit on the shelf. I just think it's so bizarre that only teeny tiny items can go on the shelves. But up here I put this telephone, a lantern. I tried to use more subtle lighting in this build, not like the harsh like down lights that I put like in almost all of them, like the recessed lighting. I tried to make the lighting more like softer, or at least more like old-timey realistic, because I wanted this cottage to seem like it's been here for a while, which is why there's like ivy and wisteria growing on the side of the building. But here, this is basically it for the little cross stitch corner, I guess you would call it, since the books aren't functional. I just put down a little rug, put the cross stitch thing in the corner, which is the one thing that I thought wouldn't be accessible, is the cross stitch basket that's supposed to go in that corner, but it actually is. And then down here is the bedroom. It is super teeny tiny. It just has a bed and a dresser. I make the bed red. It took me a long time to figure out, one, what wallpapers to use in this house, which is why I cut it out, because I didn't know exactly what shade or what color swatch I wanted to put as the wallpapers. But I ended up going with this red one. I think it has the blue baseboard, the white baseboard, the white baseboard, and then I went with the green baseboard for the kitchen and the living space. I did, as you can see, think about putting curtains up on that window, but then I gave up after I hated literally every single one of them and how they all looked. And then this room just has the bed, the nightstand, the dresser, and then I put up yet another collage of art here in the bedroom. This house has so many art collages. There's one in the bedroom, there is one in the living room, there's actually two in the living room, and then there's one upstairs in the attic, which is the space that I didn't show on camera, mostly because it's not special. I changed it originally. Across from that cross stitch space was a woodworking table with a bunch of random cluttery stuff on the walls. But then I decided about halfway through the build that we needed a computer in this house because computers are kind of essential in The Sims for like a lot of things. So I ended up moving the woodworking table outside next to the shed, and then I put a computer up there. I don't think I show that. I know for a fact that I don't show that in the build. I also don't think I put a screenshot of it because honestly, it is literally just a corner with a table, with a desk and a computer. So you'll see it when you download the build. But you could put whatever you want up there. That's just how I decided to fill the space. The attic space is really just kind of empty, because a lot of those like little dormer nooks stuff looked really weird, just like sitting in there, and I thought it looked strange. So it's very empty upstairs. But this is basically the bedroom finished. I just decorate this dresser. This is one of my favorite dressers in the game. I feel like it's really universal, especially with this wood swatch. Obviously not for modern builds, but you could really use this dresser anywhere provided you use it in this like wooden swatch, because it doesn't feel cottagey country just in the wooden swatch. But yeah, this is basically the bedroom all finished. I'm just messing with the lighting, and then we are going to go in here to the greenhouse sunroom area. I put a dining table in here, and the dining table apparently just doesn't work. My sim like just would not eat at this table for some reason. I don't know why. I think it might be because of the flowers that I place on here, which these flowers are in every single room of the house, pretty much. I think it's because of those flowers, which I find so strange because for some reason, a lot of the smaller plants, if I put them on dining tables now, my Sims just won't eat there anymore. So I don't know if it's a me thing, if it's a my game thing, or if it's an actual like Universal Sims game thing. But yeah, she won't eat at that table. She'll eat at the picnic table outside, or she'll sit in one of the armchairs in the living room. But this space is pretty much done. It's just got that table, now a decorative table apparently, some planter pots, and then that really cool decorative table over here, decorative like accent. I guess it's like a workspace table. I think that's really pretty. Don't get to use it all that often, so I was really excited to use it in the space along with that shelf with the watering can and bag hanging from it. And then I put some shoes in here, like they're the work shoes, like you take them off in here before you go traipsing through the house. And now we are in the kitchen. It's a bit of a funky layout. The downstairs was really a place that I wanted to put off for last because I didn't quite know if I was going to keep the kitchen in this space or move it to the other side of the house, but then I was like, I don't really want to shove the living room over here in this space, although in hindsight, it probably would have been better to have the living room over here and then the kitchen over there. But it is what it is. This is how I set it up. If you download this and want to move the kitchen around, you're more than welcome to. But this is just how I did it. And I mean, I think it works. You kind of have the stove over to one side next to the bedroom door, and then the fridge is directly next to the greenhouse sunroom door. I also used this like dark green swatch on these cabinets and counters. I don't normally use these counters or cabinets, nor do I use this swatch of them, and I wanted to. It doesn't necessarily go with the wallpaper that I've chosen, but I think it's nice. It's a nice contrast. Um, and then I pretty much just clutter up this kitchen with a lot more of the cottagey country type decor that's from the base game. Um, Specifically, I use this what are those utensils? I use that like cooking utensil holder. I use the teapot from Cottage Living, the knife block, those little jars. I love those jars are like really cute. I should use them more often, and especially in like the plainer swatches. I think I just leave it. Do I just leave it in this swatch? I think I just changed the color to blue. Yeah, I just gotta leave it in that swatch. I think it looks really cute. Um, and then I get more of those utensil holders again. And I actually found out that you can slot those to the sink, so it looks like those utensils were like just like freshly washed and put in the sink. I also use this item. I love this item. I use it almost all the time. I use it in the yellow color because yellow is my favorite color, and I thought it like just was a nice pop. I don't leave it here on the counter though. I stick it on top of the fridge. And then I just get out my usual paper towel clutter by the sink. And then I get out this plant that's in like the watering can, which I think is really cute. It's unfortunate that it doesn't snap to countertops. Like you would think that it would be able to snap to countertops, but it doesn't. So I had to like manually put it up here, but I think it looks really cute. I used it in this dark blue swatch. There's a lot of random colors in here. Um, but I feel like this is also like a somebody who just like collected stuff a lot over their life, so not all of it's gonna match, which I think is super realistic. And then also I really like the little gnome rug that I put by the front door. And then last but not least, this is the living room, because I did this one specifically, did this spot last because it was just a struggle. I hated all the couch choices. They were all too modern. I wanted to use the couch from Cottage Living so bad, but it was just way too large. So I tried my best to use one of the couches from base game, but it just was not working for me. So instead, I decided to start by using the by doing the TV area up, which I just give them a small little box TV with like the little rabbit ears, because I figure here in this house they probably wouldn't be watching TV all that much. And actually, the sim who was here, I think she watched TV maybe 2 or 3 times, and 2 of those times she was watching it while she cross stitched. And then I used a fake fireplace because the fireplace was so big and bulky that it just seemed to take over the whole room. So I decided that they had a fake fireplace. That at one point there was one, but then they um, stoned it off and just left the framework there. And then I put some wooden statues up there, like the person made them at the woodworking table. And then I clutter up the top of the mantelpiece with some ribbons, because I thought that maybe the sim or sims that lived here entered the competitions, and that they have their cow outside is like their prize winning cow, and they're so proud of them that they hang the ribbons on the mantelpiece. Um, I also get out the new LGBTQ um, tapestry. I thought about using this one that has like all the stuff on it, like the lights and the pictures and the neon lights and all that. But it was way too busy. I thought it felt more like a teenage or like a dorm room type of decoration, so I just used the tapestry by itself and just the standard gay pride flag color. And then I also put up the new picture collage that we got in base game, using the horse ranch swatch, because maybe the sim who lived here used to live in the horse ranch world, and then once they grew up, they decided that they were going to come out here, and instead of raising horses, they were going to raise cows and grow veggies and stuff. Which, by the way, I do have plants planted outside in the veggie patches, and then I also have plants in the plant pot, so when you see the screenshots there will be plants growing and stuff. Also, that plant on top of the fireplace I actually hated in that green swatch. Watching this back, I actually hate it so much. Like, it's so out of place and ugly, but I left it. And yes, that is the exact same rug that is in the bedroom. did not realize it while I was building. Only realized it when I went to go edit this video. Did I go in and change it? No, I did not. I left it because I liked how it looked. Again, if you download this house, you can swap out that rug for any rug, or you can change the swatch. I wanted to use the little fox and bunny rug, but it felt too childish to me. Even though that rug is super cute, I just couldn't bring myself to use it. But this is pretty much it for the build. I'm just going to clutter up the TV stand with some books, some tissues, a little picture, and like a little quill pen. And that's basically it. If you liked this, like I said, it is up on my gallery. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to post again soon, sometime next month when I have time. It's just like I said, this has been a really, really rough year for me. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!